Hi, Wasters, and welcome to another very exciting edition of Waze Community Office Hours. Today, I'm going to be your host instead of Brett. My name is Maya, and I manage communities in South America. And you might have also seen my post in the WME forum, so I'm really happy we get to connect through this channel today. We're going to be looking into Suggest and Edit on turns and house numbers, our most recent release, and we're also going to reveal what's in store for Suggest and Edit, so stay tuned until the end. Here with me are Talia, our Suggest and Edit product manager, and Neta, our UX designer. We're going to have some live Q&A at the end, so Nir, please, our great producer, is going to put up the link, so everyone, you can start sending us our questions. Before we get started, you'll also be able to test your knowledge and learn more about Suggest and Edit in our great Waze Academy courses. We have a course that's specific for Suggest and Edit, one for moderators and one for suggesters. And we've recently launched the segment restriction course, so we encourage everyone to scan the QR code and take our courses. If you've taken a course, I'd love to see it, so you can tell us in the comments. There are 6 available and counting. And we're now preparing an advanced course on segment geometry, so please stay tuned. Now, Talia, you can take it away.
Thank you so much, Maya. My name is Talia. I'm a product manager in the WME team, in the editor team. And I'm super excited to be here with you today to talk about Suggest and Edit. We love this feature, all of us. When I'm not working on Suggest and Edit on the editor, I love photography. I'm strong on gummies from all around the world, so feel free to send them over, and also to bake sourdough breads. But let's go to talk about Suggest and Edit. So I want to give a broader context of what we're talking about when we talk about community health and community growth. We talk about the community virtuous cycle, and we see that editors that come to the editor need to understand they get to have some motivation to come into the editor, to be aware of the editor, and then they need to have the option to edit, the enablement part. And once they manage to edit, they get recognition and belonging, and again, gain motivation. So enablement, when we talk about enablement, is letting editors actually edit the map. And when we talk about Suggest and Edit, this is part of this pillar. So this is the context of our strategy. And now we can go deep dive on Suggest and Edit. Oops. Okay, so what is Suggest and Edit? Suggest and Edit is a very easy pitch, has a very easy pitch that allows editors to edit where they don't have permissions, either because they don't have geographical permissions or they don't have the right level to edit the specific map attribute, map element. And in order to do this, we allowed suggesting on elements, and that's the feature. Very super easy, but we do have a long way and a lot of work to do on enabling suggesting on many different map elements. We started with segment attributes, so you can suggest edits on the segments, speed limits, directions, address, etc. And before we move to suggesting on turns and house numbers, we did some revamp to the UX of house numbers and turns. House numbers was a separate mode, and now it's part of the regular editing flow. All of these are now in production and can be create suggestions. These suggestions are then being reviewed by experienced editors who can either accept the edit or reject it and apply it to the map. When we look at how many suggestions were created, we see since we launched at the beginning of 2024, we have 160,000 suggestions, and you guys processed 99% of all suggestions that we created. This is amazing. We're super proud of us for creating this feature and for you for processing these suggestions, and that's thanks to your high engagement with the feature. So that's a huge shout out to the community. If we look, it's not just a 99% that were processed, but 84 or 85% around global suggestions were approved. So that's showing us that most suggestions are legit. And the rejection reasons are most of the time is because the edit was not aligned to guidelines or the edit is wrong. We don't get much spam, even not significant at all. And if we look at who's creating the suggestion, obviously most suggestions are created by level 1 and level 2, and we also see suggestion by level 3 and above. A suggestion can be created on any map element. So if a map element is locked on level 4, a level 3 editor can suggest an edit on it. The reviewers is the mirror view for that. So most suggestions are reviewed by experienced editor, and you can see that on the right. Last but also very impressive is that most reviews are being done in within 24 hours since the suggestion was created. And again, thank you all for all the time you spend on reviewing the suggestion, approving them, and communicating with editors who suggest edits and helping them ramp up to the community. Next. If we take a little bit of a deep dive into turns and house numbers, these were launched a couple of weeks ago. Turns was launched on June 3rd, and we see already 3,630 suggestions, and 95% of these are closed and 77% are accepted, a little bit less than the 84% we saw before. And if we look at house numbers, so it's 89% closed because this is also launched later, but we see 97% of these are accepted, which again is amazing. And most importantly, we see an impact on the community itself. So we see more editors engaging and more editors creating edit. We see an actual impact on monthly active editors. So what you see in the green triangle is the weeks post the launch of Turns. You see we moved from a couple of hundreds more of editors per week. And the right column is the week after we launch house numbers. So there's actual straight direct impact of monthly active editors, which is super significant for us.
Indeed, and thank you, John, for the shout out. We also think these are really great stats.
Right. So now I'll move to Neta to talk a little bit about the UX and the conflicts, the challenges we had, and how we resolved them.
Thank you, Tyler. Hey everyone, I'm really excited to be here with you today. My name is Neta Shemer, and I've been a UX designer on the WME team on Waze for over a year now. I truly enjoy contributing and being part of this amazing editor community. Outside of work, I love traveling and spending time outdoors, playing volleyball on a team, and I'm a big animal lover. My motto in life is being a designer is more than just a job, it's a way of life. Today, I will be presenting on behalf of myself and my colleague, Avishai Ram. With that, let's get started and dive deep into today's topic. Suggest an edit on turns. Until now, editing a turn was blocked if the turn was locked due to segment lock, or if the editor didn't have permission for the area. So editors saw all the things that they can do. And with this release, we're lifting this limitation. Editor will now be able to suggest edit on turns just like they can for segments, allowing users without adding permission to suggest changes to turn, including changing the turn permission from allowed to disallowed and vice versa, editing turn instruction, and updating the Waze prompt. Let's start with our first flow. In this flow, we'll focus on suggesting turn instruction. Once the editor selects a segment and hover the turn icon, the turn menu appears. The editor could open the turn instruction panel and make changes, even without adding permission, because now you can suggest. Before submitting, the editor could review their suggestions. It showed the current state and the suggestion change, with hover interactions that provide the same visual signals as in the instruction panel, clearly highlighted the before and after. The save log also displayed the affected segment and street names, which are visually highlighted using the same consist color in the map as we use today, helping editor confidently verify the change before sending them for review. Now let's walk through another example, this time a suggestion with most significant impact, disallowing a turn. This type of change can affect routing and traffic flow, so we've designed an experience to be more visually assertive and clear at every step. The editor changed the turn from allowed to not allowed. As soon as this change is made, the arrow icon updates visually. It turns red and not allowed label appears in the turn menu. Because this is high impact change, we surfaced extra visual clarity. The save log showed the before and after state clearly, with not allowed highlighted in red, emphasizing the nature of the change. Now let's look at it from another perspective. For you, experienced editors, who are reviewing the turn suggestion and decided whether to approve or reject them. We've kept the same interaction panel here as well to keep the entire experience consistent. When an issue card is open, you can hover it, and then you'll see the affected segment highlighted and the suggested turn clearly marked. We've made the arrow larger to help you as a reviewer to quickly identify the change, so you could easily compare the before and after states and make informed decisions. For our second project, I'll walk you through the new support for suggesting house numbers. Until now, editors without permission couldn't edit house numbers. The button was disabled if the segment was locked or out of their area. With this release, we're removing this limitation. Editors could now suggest house number changes, even without edit permission. Here's what editors can now suggest. Edit a new house numbers, editing an existing numbers, moving the location and deleting house numbers. This suggestion can be made directly from the map through the segment panel or from a new entry point we've added, accessible from the Add button in the main menu. Let's talk about some of the challenges we faced. Sometimes editors received house number suggestions, but they couldn't see them because the house number layer is off. To address this, we automatically activated the layer on when the house number suggestion is open, ensuring the full context is always visible. Since house number only appears at zoom 18, we now automatically zoom in when suggestion includes one, making it easier to review in context. Suggestion can include edits that are far apart on the map, making it impossible to understand the full scope of the change. To address this, we added a message encouraging users to zoom out or to move the map to reveal all edits. Back to you, Talia.
Thank you, Neta. So I'm really happy to talk about what's next for Suggest and Edit. Do you guys want to guess maybe what's next? What is the next feature that we're going to suggest edits on?
Send us in the comment. What do you think is the next feature we'll work on Suggest and Edit? Let's see if someone can guess. Okay, so Talia, do you want to reveal it?
So if no one's guessing, I'll be happy to reveal that our next feature is someone? Yeah.
Hazards. Lane guidance.
Okay, these are nice.
Good ideas.
Good ideas.
AI.
New roads.
Hazards.
Okay, we have new roads here. So Keith, you're the winner. New roads it is. The idea is that we're going to allow new segment suggestions where user doesn't have permission. And because we already have suggested on turns, these new segments will be able to connect them to existing segments, which is an improvement compared to the flow that we have today, that the user creates a segment, has to ask for to downgrade a level, the segment to a lower level, and then connect it. So this is what we're currently in the works, and we will also allow suggesting on deleting segments and reviewing these, of course. So I hope this will be a big change. Turns was a infrastructure for allowing this connection, this feature, and this will roll out in the next couple of weeks.
We had some guesses about lane guidance, but no, it was new segments. We have here some yes from Mikael, so thank you so much. And next up, we're going to be taking live questions. So Neil, if you can put it up, remember you can send us your questions in the link that Nir, our producer, shared with you in the chat. We'll be taking live questions, and we'll be happy to know what you want to ask us for Suggest and Edit. Okay. Let's see our first question. Is house number suggesting happening more often than those same lower level editors just adding a residential place point?
So I don't think we have these numbers yet, but we will look at these two flows. Suggestion on places in general is something that will be later on in the roadmap. It's not something we're working on currently, but these are also created from the app, and the volume of these is very high, so it's not comparable in that sense.
Thank you, Talia. Let's see if we have another question from you. You can use the link that Nir is sharing in the chat. Ask us your questions about Suggest and Edit. We'll be happy to answer. We have a question from Lori. Does the suggestion for turn include suggesting turn restrictions?
You want to ask me?
Yeah, sure, I can take it. So at the moment, no, this is not something that we've enabled for turn restrictions. I don't want to share something about why.
We were looking at the flow. The flow is very complex and is not the common case of turns. So this is not part of the attributes we do allow to suggest on. We did include turn instruction override, which is also not the main flow, but is a more common and easier flow than the restrictions. And we will take that later on in the roadmap to decide if we want to include that. Most turns don't have turn restrictions applied to them.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Next question. Are suggestions allowed only on locked elements or also for changes outside of your area? From Nick.
So if I understand the question correctly, the question is, do we allow suggestion also for areas that users don't have any editing permissions for? So if that's the question, then definitely yes. The idea is that the user can suggest anything anywhere, both if the levels are locked, the element is locked because of the level, or if the area is locked because of the driving permissions, the geographical permissions. So that allows users to actually edit wherever they want. And we do see users suggest the same areas they used to edit, right? Because they don't have suggestion where they're not driving, but it is possible.
And we got a comment from Nick saying that yes, that was the question. Excellent answer. So thank you, Nick. Okay, let's see if we have another question. New segment suggestion. Does it include connecting the new segment to the middle of an existing segment and create a new junction from Yoav?
Yoav, so yes, definitely. New segment suggestion will allow to connect the segment, actually split the existing segment and create the new junction. So everything will be in the backend in the sense that the splitting, the deleting the old segments, all of this will be part of the suggestion, but it will be for the suggester just as creating a new segment, connecting it to existing one. The splitting and the deleting is a backend flow.
Let's see if we have another question. Do we have any time frame on suggest and edit on new segments from John? Do we? What's the time frame? What's the timeline?
The timeline of when we want to roll it. I'll be in super high resolution by the end of the summer. We plan to roll it to beta and then roll it to production if the feedback you guys give will be good. If not, we'll fix whatever needs to be fixed and then roll it to production.
And we have a follow-up question from Yanis.
Not soon.
Will hazards be a blocker for new segment suggestions?
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? If you want to clarify, we'll take the question. And let's see if we have another question from the audience. From Keith, creating new segments will be good, but will they be able to suggest linking those roads to log highways above their rank?
Yeah. So the idea is, yes, the idea is that creating the new segment is one part, connecting it to existing segment that is locked to a high level is another part of this feature, definitely. The suggestion, the segment that the users will suggest will be locked by default to the lowest lock level possible, but a user can suggest higher if their level is higher. And the segment that the higher level segment is, if it's a highway and the lock to level 5, it will stay that way. And that way the approver needs to be level 5 or above. Hope that makes sense.
Yep. Let's see if we have another question. Clarification from Yanis. Sometimes hazards are locked at a higher level than the segment itself.
So that's, I assume you're talking about suggestion on existing segments. You can suggest suggestion on existing segment, even if it's locked to a higher level and the permission is locked, you can suggest that it's not blocking. New suggestions don't have not have any hazards on it, so that's not an issue.
And yeah, we have a follow-up here from Ben. Like, if you are a level lower than the hazard locked level, you can't move the segment.
But you can suggest.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if we have another question from the audience. Okay, we'll give you a minute or two. See if we have some questions from the audience or the YouTube chat. Okay. I think Yanni's question is about code lock features like hazards preventing users touching the segments. Yeah. This is what we answered, but you still can suggest. Okay, let's see if we have any other question from the audience in the chat. We'll give you another minute. Okay, who gives more? Okay, so if we have no further questions, we want to thank you and also invite you to join us for the next office hours that's going to be on August 10th to learn about a significant new enhancement to the Waze app. We're going to be unveiling Waze Insight that's going to be designed to transform how drivers are going to receive information while on the road. We'll be joined by our product manager, Tom, and also our UX designer, Svi, to unveil this new smart interface experience. So I hope you have enjoyed with us. Thank you so much, Neta. And thank you so much, Talia.
Thank you.
Okay, it seems we have one last question. Let's take it. Can an advanced editor send an edit for review? This is sent for review or
Okay.
or
So
save?
if the map element advanced editor, which is, for example, level 4, wants to suggest on level 5, they can definitely, that will automatically happen. We don't support currently a suggestion mode, in the sense I cannot decide that I want to send something to review even if I have the permission. So if I have the permissions, the edit will be saved and not be sent to review.
And from Keith, any other suggestions coming up after new segments? What do you think we should be developing? We actually spoke about this exactly with the Taya today. So we'd love to hear what do you think you should come up after new segments. And maybe also to see you in Warsaw. We'd love to. You'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. Happy to see all of you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And we'll see you in our next episode on August 10th. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.